Welcome back. Give me 1 second. I just need to Google myself for a minute. I was just doing some Googling. It's what I do every day. What's that? Ugh. Should have thought about my online presence. So we spent the last 2 months thinking about other people's online presences. We've seen how celebrities negotiate fame, how influencers get attention, and how both manage disasters and reputation crises, sometimes of their own doing, sometimes because of something else related to them. As we've learned, anything you say or do online can be used against you. And this week we're talking about online presence, and specifically your online presence. That's the title of this video. And I stole the phrase online presence from marketing because it's what they use to talk about brands. In this class, we've been talking a lot about influencers, and influencers are promoting a brand of some kind. In marketing, they talk about brand visibility, which means a customer has an easier time finding a product. Brands do this by building email lists, using influencer marketing, making content that builds brand credibility, and maybe most importantly, in my opinion, knowing your audience. So let's take one example, and it's these sugar bear hair vitamins that you're seeing all over the place. Really high brand visibility right now. At least if you're a woman on Instagram, if you follow, fitness girls or influencers or celebrities of some kind, you've probably seen these gummy vitamins. So let's do a Google search. So we go to Google, we look for hair vitamins. For women, sure, hair vitamins for women. Here are the sugar bear hair vitamins. They're on the first page of Google, but we're also going to look at this bizarre Harper's Bazaar article. Oh, here's some other options. More gummies, more hair gummies. Oh, here they are, the sugar bear hair vitamins. So extremely visible. They're on multiple sites. You can shop now and have these silly vitamins. But of course, you're not a brand, you're a person. And you still have the ability to be searchable and to be higher up on Google search results or lower if you want. So here is me Googling myself. And my website comes up pretty easily because I've recently updated it. It also could have something to do with the fact that I'm using a browser that I use regularly, so it knows who I am. I don't see any pictures of myself immediately here. But there you go. So online presence does not mean be present. I don't know, I just wanted to get that joke in there somewhere because I've been seeing a lot of these kinds of things lately, which are nice. It's good to be present, but this is not about being present with yourself or being in the moment. It's being in the moment on Google all the time. It's, that you can be found on Google, essentially, is what online presence means. But you might be hard to find. So and maybe you want that. So you have to think about how visible do you want to be and to whom or to what do you want to be visible. And I thought I would just do a little thought experiment with you guys about some of the ways that I'm visible online. So here's me in a dollar store with all these little weird toys. I have a Facebook page. I have a YouTube page now that's pretty active. I have a LinkedIn. I have a website. I have an Instagram. I have a Twitter. And it's funny because I've been kind of trying to cut down on all of these things lately. Of course, like not YouTube because I've been updating it, but I mean, my Facebook goes back to 2005. I also have all of these pages. I have Spotify that's linked to other people. I have a Reddit account that's, where I kind of lurk. I have a TikTok also where I lurk. Venmo, iNaturalist, which is something that people use to identify plants. It's really cool if you haven't checked it out. I have, and then all these other messaging accounts that are connected to other people. So think about all of the accounts you have that are connected to other people that are theoretically vulnerable to exposing what you've communicated there or what you've posted there in some way. And if you start to think about it, it's quite a bit. And so anything from your past can pop up at any time. Here's a text message that one of my friends posted from me that I sent her when I was going to meet up with her, and I guess I had like a piece of pizza in my purse. I don't know, but it's just like this kind of stuff can come back. And of course now I'm recirculating it here, so I'm giving it more visibility. But even so, just make sure that you keep things private that you don't want to be private. You can also, review on Facebook what you're tagged in, and make sure that, whatever you don't want to be visible, you have some sort of control over that. But what if you don't want to be found? Okay, so as a side note, kind of on, not even on purpose, I've been reading this book right now. It's called How to Disappear, Notes on Invisibility in a Time of Transparency by Kiko Bush. And it's kind of an interesting antidote to this video that I'm doing right now. And I thought I would read two passages from it that kind of throw a wrench in this online presence talk. So here's the first, and it's about identity and visibility and invisibility. And it's on page 9. I have a copy of the introduction in Canvas for you if you want to read it. When identity is derived from projecting an image in the public realm, something is lost, some core of identity diluted, some sense of authority or interiority sacrificed. It is time to question the false equivalency between not being seen and hiding, and time to reevaluate the merits of the inconspicuous life, to search out some antidote to continuous exposure, and to reconsider the value of going unseen, undetected, or overlooked in this new world. Might invisibility be regarded not simply as refuge, but as a condition with its own meaning and power? Going unseen may be becoming a sign of decency and self-assurance. The impulse to escape notice is not about complacent isolation or senseless conformity, but about maintaining identity, propriety, autonomy, and voice. It is not about retreating from the digital world, but about finding some genuine alternative to a life of perpetual display. And there are a lot of books right now about this very thing, but I think this one is kind of an interesting approach, especially when you're thinking about your own online presence and how visible do you want to be. She also talks a little bit about professional success, which I think is would be nice to throw in also here. And she talks about how some professions are more visible than others, but that doesn't necessarily mean that some people are more successful than others. It's just the value that our society places on visibility. Oops, sorry, my camera is like kind of wobbly. Okay, so let me just read this small section for you. So she is quoting somebody named David Zweig, who is from his book Invisible, celebrating the unsung heroes of the workplace. And he talks about the ways people can be doing good without personal promotion. And she says, professional success can be a matter of doing excellent work, quoting Zweig, rather than seeking attention for themselves. A quaint notion today, but one that probably went without saying a generation or two ago. Zweig, who she's quoting, found that the 3 common traits of people in such professions, such as fact checker, fragrance designer, structural engineer, and prop master on a TV series, were ambivalence toward recognition, meticulousness, and a savoring of responsibility. She says, I see those traits in people I know who choose anonymity, a friend who constructs special effects in film and prefers not to have his name listed in the credits, a woodworker who chooses not to sign his precisely crafted pieces, and a graphic designer who chose her profession exactly for its discretion. Quote, I didn't know what graphic designers looked like, she told me. No one cared what I looked like. I wanted to be anonymous. It was about the work. And I think that is really important for those of you who, have professions that may not necessarily be super legible to this conversation about online presence. And that's okay. You don't have to do that. So that's why I'm giving a couple of different options for this assignment. But I think that this idea of visibility and invisibility is an interesting and important one. And I just wanted to sort of bring that to your attention. For this project, our final project, you're starting a website, you are working on or starting your LinkedIn, or you're doing something else that you proposed to me. And before we get to all that in the next couple of weeks, I want to just wrap up this video with a few tips about online presence in general. The first is it's hard to escape having even just a small online presence. Even if you choose not to be on Facebook, as I've shown, my friend earlier in this video put up some text messages that I sent her. I have photos of me that other people have posted. So even if I got rid of my Facebook, there would still be some traces of me there. I don't know, there's not a whole lot that you can do about that if you're in the world and social and, doing things, and involved with other people who are on social media. So you kind of just have to find a way to manage that or to be okay with it. So this week I want you to take some time to evaluate where you are visible online and what you want to be more or less visible. Also, think about locking down posts and images you don't want potential employers to see. You can make things private on Facebook, etc. Tailor your presence to your audiences as much as you can. So your LinkedIn profile is going to be much different from your TikTok profile. Those are 2 totally different audiences. And similarly, those audiences are going to be kept separate. So your people looking at your LinkedIn are not going to find your TikTok easily. And you kind of want to keep it that way, unless, of course, your TikTok presence is your professional presence, which is becoming more and more the case these days. And then they might be linked. So think about some of those negotiations. In general, do not post anything anywhere online that you don't expect to resurface someday. I think this is kind of a basic piece of advice at this point, but I have given you a few examples in this video of, little bits and bytes of media that I've resurfaced myself, but that come up in my Facebook all the time. Pictures of me from college, and we all have these, they're everywhere, and it's okay. We're human. But just kind of, try to keep things as private as you can, because it's just a little safer. And I think people are becoming a little bit more forgiving of the fact that we have online presences, especially as more and more millennials are in charge and we understand these things. But the more private you can keep things, the better. So just take some stock of your social media presence and your online presence this week and see what you can do.